This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Thursday, January 12th, 2023, and we're so glad you could join us for today's show. And in today's episode, I will visit with Eric Geiger with People's Company. That was at the recent Land Investment Expo here in Des Moines. And as always, we will also have a check of the ag weather outlook. But first, let's run down the closing markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day, we are joined now by Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. Tyler, it was a big day today with a WASDE report being released. And from what I understand, it was a little bit different than what we expected with the WASDE report today. What were your takeaways on the grains?
Yeah, there was a big data dump from the USDA, a whole bunch of reports that we can go through. On the WASDE report on corn, the big story really, the market had been focused on lower exports. We got that. They lowered exports some 150 million bushels. But what caught everyone off guard was they lowered the harvested acres on corn from 89.6 million down to 87.1 million. So it took 1.5 million acres of harvested grain out. And even though they bumped up the yield slightly, that reduction in acres was more than enough to offset any of the decrease in usage on corn. And we ended up with the ending stocks at 1.24 billion bushels, which was right near the low end of the range and lower than last month's estimates. And so again, you had a trade focused on higher ending stocks. They got lower ending stocks that kind of just caught everyone off guard. The other, I said it was a big data dump. We also got the quarterly stocks report out. This was on stocks in all positions as of December 1st. And all three classes, corn, wheat, and beans, came in below the estimate, and really, and most of them at the bottom end of the range. Wheat actually came in below the lowest estimate on endings or on stocks. Corn came right at the low end of the range, and beans came right at the low end of the range as well. So it told us that our old crop supplies are tighter than what we thought they were. And I think really going forward, especially on corn, we're in another position, kind of like we were last year, where we don't have a lot of room for error. We need to have a large crop come in. We can't have a large weather issue. You could debate last year that we did have the weather issue with the drought in the Western Corn Belt. A lot of that was offset by really, really good yields in the central part of the Corn Belt, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, that region. But we're right back in that boat again for this coming spring. So look for a really vivid weather market to play out here over the next few months as we try to figure out what we're going to have left in the bin come August.
So Tyler, from your viewpoint, let's say you are an individual producer here in the state of Iowa, what you've learned today in the WASDE report and some of those other numbers that were released, some of that data, what's the big takeaway for a producer after today's information?
I think for a producer, if you were maybe a little bit behind on sales or getting some hedge positions on, and there are a lot of them out there, because I talked to a handful of them that came into this week, maybe felt you didn't have enough sold. Maybe you felt like maybe you missed some of the rally potential. The market's saying, hey, we're going to give you another shot at it. Set some realistic targets. I have a hard time seeing, plus $7 old crop corn on the board for a sustained period. We've got some demand struggles there. We've got some macroeconomic issues that are kind of weighing overhead. So I think anything like that keeps a lid on this corn market. But it did say, hey, we're not out of the woods yet. We're not going to be increasing stocks anytime soon. It's going to be at least another year now before that gets done. And so that's going to be a weather market. So I do think it gave you another opportunity to either get some hedges on, make some sales. But the market's only going to give so many of these opportunities before farmers are really good at what they do. We're going to produce a big crop here one of these days, and it's going to take a lot of that premium out of the market. So I encourage producers to stay focused. We're still at incredibly profitable levels with old crop corn here. So don't take your eyes off the prize just yet.
And Tyler, switching gears to the other side of the livestock markets, what about livestock markets today?
Livestock markets didn't perform quite as well. Hogs are still getting beat up. It's been a pretty rough 2 weeks on hogs. I think like 11 of the last 12 trading days, hogs have traded down, at least in the February contract. Your cutout, your cash hogs are all down around this $78. So being able to rally off of these levels is going to be difficult in hogs, at least in the nearby on the February contract. Cattle, I think, took the news of the higher corn prices a little tough today. Feeder cattle were down about $1 in your spring contracts, January, March, and April. That's, it's going to be tough to rally feeder cattle really hard in these nearby contracts with corn prices. Corn and cattle feeding country still over $8 a bushel when they get into the bunk. So as corn prices go higher, it's just going to kind of keep a lid on the feeder calf market. And fats really just didn't have a whole lot to trade on today. Ended up closing down 20 to 40 cents in the nearby contracts.
Tyler, you're absolutely correct. A lot of data, a lot of information today. Where can people turn to if they would like more great information and some help along the way?
Check out our website, agmarket.net. You can look at all of our contact information there. Check out our intel. We publish a ton of intel that you can get emailed to you every day. And check out our conference that'll be in Nashville the first Sunday and Monday of February coming up here in just a couple of weeks. And if they want to call, my number is 701-987-6009.
Tyler, thanks so much for the great information as always, and have a great rest of your day.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
That was Tyler Schau with agmarket.net. Let's turn our attention now to the closing numbers, courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. March corn up 15 even at 671 even. New crop December corn up 6 3/4 at 696 even. March soybeans up 25.5 at 1518.5. New crop November soybeans up 9 1/4 at 1396 1/4. Soybean meal for March up $6.70 at 481.30. Soybean oil for March up $1.14 at 63.25. Chicago wheat up 2.5 at 750 3/4. Minneapolis wheat up 11 even at 907 even. And Kansas hard red wheat up 12 1/4 at 831 1/2. May oats up 8.5 at 355 1/4. On the Merc, live cattle for February down 20 cents at 157.55. January feeder cattle down $1 at 182.12. February lean hogs down 55 cents at 78.75. February pork cutout down 27 cents at 87.07. And January class 3 milk down 6 cents at 19.52. And that's been a check of the Ag Market Recap here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association, and the Soy Checkoff. And when we come back, I will visit with Eric Geiger. He is a land manager with People's Company. That's coming up next. This is AMPM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today, I visit with Eric Geiger with People's Company. We talk about maximizing return on investment through land management. Mark Magnuson with the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm here with Eric Geiger today. Eric with the People's Company. We are at the People's Company Land Investment Expo. Eric, could you tell us what your job responsibilities are with People's Company?
With People's Company, I'm a land manager. I manage land for absentee landowners where they live mainly out of state, but sometimes they live local, but they just need a farm manager to look after their property and see if there's any improvements that could be made.
So Eric, a big event like this for your company, what is this like for you personally? Are you meeting a lot of people that are interested in these types of things for business reasons, or are they just interested in general? What kind of interactions are you having at an event like this?
I think they're interested in general. Our speakers, they come back every year, the participants, to hear the different topics. And like Peter Zahan, he gave a great new update on what he looks at in the country and around the world. And so people come to listen to him, and it's just we have a good diversified group of participants that comes and watches, and we hope they look to our company someday to help them as much as we can help they help us.
So Eric, what is your day-to-day like then with operating and managing farmland and helping people out? What I guess do people look to you to help them with?
They look to us to handle the leases and collect the rent, just like say a property manager for an apartment building. We also go beyond that with regular visits to the farms, and we implement drone footage technology. So we drone every farm every year, and we look for issues that could be arised. I found a washout into a river a couple years ago. By finding that with a drone early, I could take good photos, get a contractor lined up with my photos, and he could look at exactly what needed done. We could get a cost estimate put together. Landowner approved it, and that as soon as the combine left the field, they were there working on the project and got it all put together before even winter set in. So it gave us a jump start on being able to take care of that problem early.
To use a drone to take those photos, and does that just increase the speed you can get that done like 10 times? I mean, how much quicker can you do that?
Oh yeah, you can drone over like a quarter of ground, like a half mile by a half mile. Within 6 or 7 minutes, you can pretty much do a quick overpass over that farm. And then if you have an isolated issue that you see out there, another few minutes, and you can zero in on the location and get a better photo of it. So.
Eric, with the services that you provide in managing land for people and helping them out with their process on an operation that maybe they're not on, is this more geared then for people that aren't as familiar with agriculture? Is it for people that are familiar with agriculture, they just don't have the time? Who exactly do you market to the most?
We market to everybody because every person that you listed, they have their own needs and wants for whatever reason to help their life. They might have family members that they need to take care of, and they say, hey, I just really don't have time, or I don't want to take that responsibility. Maybe someone's the leader of a family. Maybe they've got 4 or 5 brothers and sisters, and none of them wants to be harnessed with that responsibility because something goes bad. They don't want Christmas dinner to taste bad that next year. So a lot of times they'll hire some farm manager to keep those records and implement any things that need done with that farm.
And Eric, you work here in Iowa and Nebraska. Is there anything in specific, anything that's kind of caught your attention as something that people are doing maybe as like a trend with their farmland, or any kind of way that they're managing their land in a different manner, maybe something new?
Something new that's come along the last years are cover crops, and I do have a landowner that is experimenting with cover crops, and so it's a new experience for myself on a more broad spectrum. And when we start to visit about carbon credits and some of those things, cover crops play a vital role in cover crops. They actually can capture carbon from the air and put it into the soil for your regular production plants to grow into and use that.
Eric, is there anything else you'd like to let our viewers, our listeners know about when it comes to People's Company, or what you do for day-to-day operations, and maybe something that they can find out about if they're more interested in?
Yeah, contact us. The People's Company, our headquarters is in Clive, Iowa, and I'm out of the Omaha office. Anything from land management to land sales, everybody is more than happy to visit with anyone about anything. Even if you're not even thinking about selling or managing and you just want some information for now, give us a call. We're more than happy to visit with you, no charge, and we'll do an evaluation of your farm and let you and answer any questions you would have.
He is Eric Geiger with People's Company. Eric, thank you so much for the time, and have a great rest of the Land Investment Expo.
You have one also, and thank you for being here today.
And that was Eric Geiger with People's Company. As for right now, let's take a look at the ag weather outlook. Unlike the WASDE report numbers that we received today, not as much excitement when it comes to the weather. But here in central Iowa, we are not complaining. In Des Moines, we have next to no snow left on the ground, some very mild temperatures as well. Here around the state of Iowa today, partly cloudy conditions and blustery. Yes, it is a little bit windy around the state, but nothing too terribly extreme in the way of temperatures. Tonight, looking at a partly cloudy evening with those clouds diminishing as the evening continues. And again, temperatures fairly comfortable for the most part tonight. And as we turn our attention to tomorrow, we are going to have a partly sunny day for the most part, and temperatures will be in the 30-degree range for most of the state. So it should be a pretty pleasant Friday. So let's turn our attention now to the National Weather Service and what it has in store for the ag weather outlook. As you can see from the National Weather Service, mostly cloudy and windy around the state of Iowa today. We do have some isolated areas of occasional flurries. And temperatures will remain pretty comfortable today with temperatures in the low 20s to upper 30s. Tonight, cloudy and windy with isolated snow showers in the eastern portions of Iowa. Low temperatures tonight in the 6 to 25 range. Tomorrow looking to be a pretty nice Friday. Decreasing clouds as the day progresses, becoming sunny throughout the afternoon, and high temperatures tomorrow around Iowa expected to be in the 22 to 33 range. Turning our attention to our affiliate weather map for tomorrow, Cherokee, partly sunny and 22, the expected high. Shenandoah, partly sunny with a expected high temperature around 33 degrees. In Des Moines, partly cloudy tomorrow, a high temperature around 30. Albia, similar story with a high temperature around 31. Waterloo, partly cloudy with a high around 27. And Clinton, mostly cloudy with a high around 32. For a more detailed forecast in your part of the state, check with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook. And that also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And you can find our video content and previous episodes of AMPM on our YouTube channel. Don't forget as well our free twice daily market podcast, which can be found anywhere on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. On behalf of Riley Smith and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.